All right, the cool part where you get to create the bed and then make it a Murphy bed, like I was showing earlier. All right, let me hide the data panel. So yeah, the Murphy bed means you can like do this with it. Pretty cool, right? Kind of fun. And then you can animate it like I showed in that last video. So the deal with it is you get to create the bed you kind of want. All right. It could be a bunk bed. It could be a water bed. I don't know how you would show that, but yeah, that's kind of up to you. All right, so I'm looking to see some creative things here. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it part of the rubric yet. We'll see. But I want it to look good. I want it to look like a bed. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You could pause the video and check out what I've got over here. I've made different components. But one thing I will check for sure is to see you have like rounded edges, all right, using this fillet tool that look good, right? So here I actually have, you can see the rounds are larger here than they are side to side because that just looks right, right? All right. So I need to see that, but you're going to have to attach the bed legs you made to the bottom of the bed. And let me give you one other tip about making your bed. Think about how long these legs are. All right. And yeah, think about how long they are. And then let me say for the head of the bed, it's going to be easiest if this is really just a rectangle, okay? And so you'll come to see why in a sec. That was the wrong one. I'm trying to get the edge. Why it would be easiest for that to be a rectangle, all right? For when you make that Murphy joint, or what we call a Revolute. All right, so let's talk about how to do rigid joints properly, because I don't think people necessarily got it with the last thing. So I deleted the legs from this bed, okay? And something I'm going to do before I even like place this leg, let's maybe escape out of that. It doesn't want me to do that. Let me say cancel. Okay. So I want to make sure this bed is not going to move. Okay. So what you'll do is we could go to the bed frame, or it might be this part right here, depending on how you're making yours. Right click on it, and you're going to pick grounded. All right. So mine is already grounded, so that's why it says unground, okay? The pin shows me that it's grounded, so that means that in this assembly file, if I click on this, it's not gonna move around, okay? You wanna do that with like the basic part anytime you create an assembly file, meaning you're putting more than one part into a spot. Then, that way, if you just ground the one, you can make sure everything else is connected correctly by trying to drag it and see if it moves, or if it moves how it's supposed to, all right? So this obviously is not supposed to move. We need to join it, all right? So we're gonna use assemble, let me see here, and joint. I usually just hit the J button, because that's the keyboard shortcut, all right? But yeah, you hit joint. I always capture position, so I know where things are, all right? And the default is rigid, and that's what we want for these legs on the bed, okay? So we're gonna use simple almost all the time in here. And basically, I need to pick the first component and where on that component I want to connect to my second component and where on that component. So I want to pick just the center point here, all right, on the top. So that'll work, or it should work. You can see this is now not blue anymore. I mean, this part's blue, so it means I need to select component 2. All right, so to do that, I'm gonna get it arranged the way I want. And specifically, I know I want it to go onto this surface here and that point. All right, so you see I clicked the one surface, and then that allowed me to select something on that surface, and I selected this corner point. So I don't want it right on the corner. What I'm gonna do, and I would recommend that you all do this. I'll make sure that your legs look like pretty good when you put them on, is 2 inches over, and this direction 2 inches down, or -2. All right, and so that's gonna give us a pretty nice like joint. And now you see if I try to grab this, it's not going anywhere because it's rigidly joined to the bed. All right, so you'll need to do that with both legs, and I want them to be symmetrical. All right. Like I said, you should have like a rectangle down here because it's going to make the next part easier. And I'm going to show you that next part now. All right. So I come to my like practice room here. All right. And we need the bed to do like this, right? So I'm going to delete it to start. Let's see here. Select. It's not doing it the way I want. I'm going to say cancel. And I'm just going to like right click over here and say delete. And yes, we want to delete it. Okay, so we need to bring in the bed now. All right, I think I had, yeah, here we go. Let's bring this finished bed in here. All right, sometimes you can like drag it in, sometimes you can't. All right. All right, cool. So I've got it in there. And really, you know, where I'd like to put it before I like start working with it is actually kind of like above. It's gonna be a little easier if I can see what I'm doing here. So we're gonna do the J button to get the joints activated again, or you could find it in Assemble. So hitting the J key. And I want to change the motion from a rigid to a revolute. All right, so now we need to pick what's going to connect to what. So I am shifting, and I want specifically to connect this edge here. Uh-oh, it's frozen. This edge here, and maybe I will pick like one corner of it. I know that this corner is going to be the one on the inside based on where I wanted to put my room. All right, so the edge is still highlighted. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to select the wall that I want the bed against, all right? And so I'm gonna pick right here, actually. All right, so I can see that it's trying to do what I want it to do. So let's back around and really look at it and make sure that it's kind of how we want. All right, well, you know, the bed is actually upright. It's because I can see that the, you know, legs are there or whatever. But I need to spin it around. So let's see what happens if I click flip. Let's look in the room now. All right, that is kind of the way we want it. Good. So before I say okay, I'm going to move it over to where it should be. All right, and I think, let's see, maybe try like a -60. See how that lines up. All right, I'm going to guess that's like pretty lined up. I try to use even numbers. Whoops, wrong view. Yep, okay, cool. Let's go back to my home view. And then I can just say, you know, basically at this point, click OK. All right, thing is, we are not finished, okay? The last thing we need to do to really make this a nice Murphy bed joint is I need to make sure it doesn't do like this where it goes all the way around, okay? I do not want that. So let's fix this. What you'll do is go to Joints. And by the way, this is how I can check that you've done your joints correctly. There is a section for it in the browser, all right? So if I don't see that in there, I see the other things, I'm like, you just kind of place things in there without joining them. Looks like we already have a Revolute. Oh, I just did that, duh. All right, so right click. This is what we need. Edit the joint limits, okay? So we want the rest. We do want there to be a rest, all right? And I want that to be 0, okay? Then maximum, basically, we want that to be like 90 degrees, right? Because that's what a Murphy bed would do. Now, it's possible it's going the other direction, in which case we would need -270, so we'll just kind of have to see here. So Animate will let you test it before you do it, and that's exactly what we want, okay? So basically, we're done. Minimum, you can like leave checked. Don't make it a different one than your rest. I don't think it'll let you do that. But and then just click OK. And there we go. So really, since the rest is the bottom, it should be like that. But now I can, you know, show it's a Murphy bed, and that's something I'll be testing for or looking for you to show me. A bunk bed Murphy bed would be very interesting, but I'd love to see it. That'd be cool. And then you can right click and do animate joint to get that, yeah, kind of like animation. All right, video's too long. You know what to do. Have fun with it.